Hello, my amazing family. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Maria, and today I'm going to be taking you guys with me for a day in my life. We will be traveling to Yakima, Washington. I'm going to be going up there to visit my son and see my little granddaughter. Visit with my little granddaughter. She wanted me to see her get off the bus because she just started school. She's 5 years old and she wants me to see her get off the bus. So I'm driving down there to go do that. So stay tuned for that video. I got my coffee. I got me a caramel macchiato coffee with protein. It's really good and has protein in it. I get coconut milk in it, a caramel drizzle, and whipped cream. It's good. I just finished getting my coffee. I pumped gas. My car's washed, and I'm ready to head out for an hour. And it's supposed to take an hour and 15 minutes to get there. Like I said, some people make it there faster, but I drive cautious and I drive speed limit, so it takes me about an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So I'm bringing you guys along with me for my drive, and today is my day off. I have Mondays and Tuesdays off, and this is what I do. Either I stay home and babysit Shia, my grandson, or I go to Yakima to visit both of my sons that live there, and my daughter, Melanie, and my son, Julio, and my son, Isaac. They all live in Yakima. Today, I probably won't be visiting Isaac or Melanie because they're at work, but today is my son, Julio's day off, and he wants me to come down because JC wants me to see her get off the bus. So that's what we're gonna make it happen. And I'm excited. She's such a cutie. I hardly ever have her on my videos because she also, my son has visitation. They get 50-50 custody of JC. The mom gets 50% custody and my son gets 50% custody. So they have a 50-50. It works out really good for them. I'm happy she gets to spend a lot of time with my son because my son loves spending time with his daughter. He's a good dad. Let's see what else here. I think on our drive there, I will be telling you one of my stories while we drive. So I will start with my ex-husband. I don't think I've ever told you guys about him. Not my kids' dad, but my ex-husband. It's the last marriage I had. And we met in Yakima, Washington. And no. We met in Zillah, Washington. Okay. He was my neighbor. And he was my neighbor, him and his brother and one of their friends. They lived next door and they were single. They would always help me. Like when my car broke down, they used to help me. It was winter and they would help me. Do you need a ride to the store? And I'd be like, oh no, it's okay. Here, you can use the car. They would let me borrow their car, and I'll go to the store and buy groceries. And then I would usually take the bus to work. And then one of them started letting me borrow his car, which he ended up being my ex-husband. And then one day I came home, and like they were my neighbors right next door. There was only like a fence in between, one of those shorter wire fences in between both houses. And I came home and there was a little car parked in my driveway, and I was like, wonder who parked that car there. And then all the three guys that lived next door came out, and then they said I was a single mom, and I had my kids, and I worked and everything, and they said, oh, we bought that car for you. And I said, oh no, I can't accept that. I was like, I'm sorry. I says, I can't accept that. And then they said, we bought it for you. We all pitched in and we got you that car. And my ex-husband, he worked at a dealership where they paint cars, and he was one of the painters there. So it was his aunt and uncle's body shop. There you go. It's called the Body Shop. And they get cars for discount. So he got a real good deal on the car. And you got to remember, we were just friends at the time. We didn't really know each other all that great. All right. So I said, well, when I get my taxes, I will pay you guys back. And of course, they didn't. When I finally got my taxes, I tried to pay them back. They didn't accept my money. One day they were having a barbecue. These guys were just nice guys, They're having a barbecue, and they give me a big old plate of meat, hot dogs, tortillas, and says, "Oh, is that for your kids?" Because my kids would be out there playing, and then I'd be sitting out there on the steps watching my kids. I said, oh, thanks, you guys. You guys didn't have to. And then, well, you don't want to come over and eat with us. So I said, oh, no, it's okay. Like, that guy wouldn't go over there. They would give us food all the time when they're barbecuing, or they're making oysters or whatever out there for my kids. And whatever. They'll give me food. They're just nice guys. And my ex-husband, he was a very, very nice person. Really responsible. He took me and my kids, and he treated my kids like they were his own. He was a good man. He was from Compostela, Nayarit, Mexico, and his whole family loved me and loved my kids, and we're a good family. We're doing really good together. We had a big wedding in the church, and big old dance, big old comida, reception, a big old reception, and it was nice, We lasted together for lots of years, and one day he comes to me and he says, we should open our own body shop. And he goes, I know how to paint and fix cars, and you could work in the office, and we can get our own clients. And I said, hey, if we want to do it, we have enough money saved up, we can do it. And we ended up buying a body shop, a building, and we put in a painting room. We were headed up to making it big time, And I was working in the office, giving insurance quotes, giving customer quotes about how much we're going to charge them on painting their car. People would come in there and they wrecked their car, and they wanted us to fix it. We're really good people. We were very well known, in the Lower Valley, and people would even come from Quincy. We painted a couple cars from Quincy, Wenatchee, out that way, and we had a lot of business, and we were making really good money. Well, my ex-husband, he used to drink, but I didn't care. I didn't mind, because he still will hold up his responsibilities, with work, home, help me out and stuff. And everything, I didn't mind. He could drink. He could have his cubas, which was tequila with squirt. He would make his oysters, or he'll make shrimp, or he'll make really good food, and we go outside at the house and barbecue, and stuff like that. Well, after a while, all of that started going downhill. I started noticing less money coming into the business, and we had bills to pay, and You got to remember the business was in my name, so I had the business permit and I ran the money and everything. Well, he started giving people quotes and not telling me first, and then they would come in and I'd be like, well, no, it's gonna be so much, because God could tell exactly how much it was gonna be and da 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 and whatnot. And he just started going above me and just doing things, and I was like, okay, well, you want to be the man, you want to respect, I'll respect that. I didn't want to go over him. And I dealt with that for a few years, and then he started drinking more, to the point where before he wouldn't drink until after he was done working, and he would get home, he would sit down and make himself a drink, or he would ask me, can you bring me a beer, or can you make me a drink, a Cuba, tequila with squirt. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. Take it to him, he'd relax, put his feet up, have dinner, and then go to bed, and the next day do it all over again. Well, he started staying at work, drinking. They started gambling. With the other workers. They would stay there all night. He'll pass out, spend the night at work, at the shop, and not come home. And then I'd have to get to work the next day. Oh, what happened? Where were you? He'd be like, oh, we drank all night, and we played baraja. They would play cards, and gamble, and poker. They would play poker, and they would gamble all night long. And then and he just ended up he would just end up staying there, because he was so drunk that he would just pass out. They would take advantage of him while he was at work. His people that would come in, like guys, and they would ask him, oh, give me a quote on the car, how much will you charge me? And then he would give them, oh, this and that. He was all drunk, giving them cheap quotes, oh, it'll be so much. One time I remember I was going to charge $1,800 to fix a car that was kind of wrecked up. And he went and he fucking told them, oh, yeah, I'll do it for $1,000. And I'd be like, he was the man. I don't want to go over him. Okay, well, you know what? It's going to cost so much, plus your labor. And he goes, oh, I already gave him the deal. That's my business. Don't butt in. And I go, okay, fine. We got in a big argument. And I told him, I'm just not gonna work there no more. I'm gonna stay home or find myself another job, because it's not working out that I'm there and I'm not doing nothing. You're just going over me. Customers are coming in and they're saying that, oh, well, that you already told them that it was gonna be so much, and I look like a fool, and so I'm just not gonna work there no more. We got in a big argument. I said I'm gonna leave my license there, and that's about it. You can work that whole entire shop if you want. I'm not gonna be involved no more. I'm not gonna order your paints. I'm not gonna do nothing for you no more. I'm not gonna make the bank deposits. You're gonna be in charge of all of that now. Well, he took it like a man, like a macho, Fine. He said, I can deal with it. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And I said, okay, fine. And he started not coming home, just staying, gambling at work, drinking, barbecuing at work with his buddies, and then I told him, you need to start coming home. I don't want you staying there no more, and you need to start coming home. You're my husband, and you got responsibilities at home too, and not just at the shop, being there all day long and not coming home. He started coming home, but he would stay in his car, in his truck, and drink. He'll stop at the store. We lived right close to the store, and he would stay there and drink all night in his truck. And as soon as he saw me, because we had a 2-story house, I'll go upstairs with the kids and go to bed, put the kids to bed, get them ready for school the next day and whatnot. And he would come inside and pass out on the couch. So I said, finally, I had about a year of that, and finally I told him, I'm gonna leave you if you don't change. he still kept doing this. He said, oh, I'm going to change, Maria. I'm going to change. I promise you. And this and that. He still kept doing the same shit over and over, over and over. Until one day, I remember telling my mom, well, he's drinking so much. He's not, he's not bringing no money to the house. And we're falling behind on the bills. And da-da-da-da. So I pulled my bit. No, first my mom goes, well, if you don't want to be with him, Mariquita, because my mom calls me Mariquita, then leave him. But if you're going to leave him, you're going to leave him for good. You're not going to be bouncing around back and forth. She said, get yourself a job, save up some money so you can rent yourself an apartment for you and your kids. You don't have to be going through all this. So I got myself a job, a nanny job. I started being a nanny to taking care of these 2 little kids, and they paid me really good money. The people that I worked for, they really appreciated me, and I'd go to their house. I'd take my kids would get on the bus out there and get dropped off out there. I mean, it was working out perfect. And he got kind of mad because he wanted to be in control of me. He didn't want me to work. He didn't want me to make money. And I was still working and making money, and he wanted me to help pay bills. And I was like, well, you got the body shop. That body shop makes way more money than what I make, being a nanny. And he says, yeah, but I need help paying the mortgage and whatnot. And I said, all right. So I started helping him, but I also started pocketing money, and I started telling them that I was making less. I know that's not right when you're married to somebody, but I was looking out for me and my kids. And I told him, okay, yeah, fine, I'll give you so much money. It ended up being that he wasn't even paying the mortgage. Our house caught on fire, and he didn't pay the insurance, and I was giving him the money to do the payments. He didn't pay insurance, and we lost our house, and we couldn't even rebuild the house. The house was in my name. I literally had to resell the property and let it go because he was so much behind on the bills, on paying, and he didn't pay my insurance, nothing. And he pissed me off, and that's what ended our relationship. I had enough money saved up. I moved out. Grabbed my stuff, and moved out. And after that, that's when the house caught on fire and all that shit happened to him, and it was an electrical wiring that it caught on fire. But, that was beyond the subject. He was safe. Nothing happened to him. I got scared. And when they called me late at night saying that my house caught on fire and da-da-da-da. And I finally saved up my money, moved out, got my own place with me and my kids. Later on, I told him I'm going to pull the license from the business because it doesn't seem like it's going well, and you're not even paying the property tax on there. You're not paying the building every month like you should be. You're falling behind. So I got bad credit and everything, and I sold the shop because he was no longer making enough money to keep up because of the alcoholism, that he was drinking too much. So he ended up going back and working for somebody else, and he was staying at their shop in Granger, Washington. Staying inside their shop. One time I met up with him because we needed to sign some papers, and he told me, he goes, I'm sorry, will you take me back? I said, no, we're done. I'll never accept you back. You ruined what we had. We had something good. You started making a lot of money, and you didn't know how to cope with it and how to save money and pay bills, and we lost everything. I'm trying to build up what we lost. And And I took it from there and never took him back. Well, he kept drinking, I guess. He kept drinking and drinking. That he got another DUI, and then the last time he wrecked and left his car there, and he ended up leaving back to Mexico. The last time, because my youngest son, he raised my youngest son, so my youngest son, he's like a father to my youngest son, you know, because my son claims him as his dad. That's fine, you know. He was a good dad to my kids. Never did nothing bad to my kids, and he loved my kids a lot. The only problem was between me and him, that he couldn't keep up with the bills, and I wasn't going to pay his way so he could be an alcoholic. And my son talked to him, and he was back in Nayarit, and he didn't want to go to prison or jail, and now he's over there, and he'll never come back, and he ruined everything he had going here. He had a good thing going, and that's how we ended up getting into a divorce, you know. And I'm good now, you know. I'll never remarry anybody, not because of him, because I'm heartbroken, or no, because I don't want to go through the struggle of getting a divorce. Cost of money, and not only that, relationships to me, I mean, it's different with everybody, but to me now, I'm just gonna dedicate the rest of my life to my grandchildren and my kids, and that's what I'm into now. My kids and my grandkids, you know, and I love spending time with them, and I have no time for a relationship right now in my life, and I'm happy the way I am. This is it. This is me, you know, and I'm happy, and things happen for a reason. And like my mom said, save up your money and move out. I finally saved up enough money, found an apartment in Yakima, Washington. That's how I ended up there, in Yakima. I found an apartment, a job. I worked at Mel's Diner for almost 11 years as a server, as a waitress. And that job brought me a lot of money, and it helped me support my kids. And I was fine, you know. Had my own little car. I became very independent, and till this day, I'm still a very independent woman, and I'm happy. You know, I don't have to worry about any man except for myself. You know, I'm not a man, I'm a woman, but I ain't got to worry about a freaking man that's drinking and making me worry and giving me problems. So all of you women out there that are having difficulties in your relationship, don't ever think that you can't make it by yourself, because you can. Even if you got kids, if you're in a bad relationship, get out. Get out while you can. Save up your money, even if it's $50, $100 every paycheck, hide it somewhere, give it to your mom, or make your own bank account or whatever. Save up your money and get out and get your own place. It can be done. I did it. Anybody else can do it, you know. And I'm happy. And now I'm alone, and that's just how I want it. I want to live alone, and I want to dedicate my life to my kids and my grandkids, and that's what I do, and that's what makes me happy. It might not make you happy, but it makes me happy. That's what I want in life. All right, you guys. So that was it for that story, and that's one of the stories that I have in my life that has happened to me. But we all learn from our mistakes, and I've learned, and I'm good, you know. Okay, so let's change the subject. I am now passing Benson City, Washington. Next little town's gonna be Prosser, Washington, Grandview, Washington, Sunnyside, Washington, Granger, Washington, in the little town Zilla, Washington. Zilla, Washington is the little town that I used to live in, where I got my first job at that one little Mexican restaurant called El Ranchito. El Ranchito is still there, but it's not the same. Now they turned it like into I guess I heard they turned it like into a nightclub now. They have a club at night, they play music, and they have like a little nightclub there. But it's still a restaurant. Alright, it's not the same thing that how it used to be back in the day. But anyways, yeah. And then after I pass Zilla, I will pass Toppenish, Washington, then Wapato, Washington, then Union Gap, Washington, and then I will be in Yakima, Washington. Then I get to see my granddaughter JC today, and my son Julio. Last week when I went down there, he was really sick with the flu, or 2 weeks ago, and he's feeling a lot better, and I don't have to wear my mask this time, and that's gonna go good. And I'm excited to see him. I really miss my kids. I miss them. Even if I see them this week, I'll miss them during the week. It's really hard to be without your family. You know, I have my son in Kennewick. I have my son Angel and Shia. They live there, and I visit with them every day. You know, tomorrow I will have Shia, and I'll be babysitting him, and then I go back to work on Wednesday. And I start my whole week all over again. Like I said, Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off, and these are the days that I do things. I will have a video out pretty soon here on making my famous meatloaf and my homemade mac and cheese and my mashed potatoes and brown gravy. Yummy. So stay tuned for that video. Other than that, I just want to let you all know, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos and liking them. All right, you all have a great day and enjoy your week. And God bless you. Until next time.